Oh, Wimbledon, 2025. The strawberries were ripe, the grass was manicured to royal perfection, and the crowd. Well, let's just say their reaction to Queen Camilla could have made a tumbleweed feel like a rock star. As she sauntered toward the royal box, all pomp and no pop, the reception was so frosty you'd think someone had accidentally invited the ghost of the Berlin Wall. A few pity claps trickled in, likely from confused tourists or extremely polite pigeons, but the bulk of the audience looked on as if Camilla had interrupted centre court with an unsolicited TED talk on how to not win public affection. And then, oh, the moment of peak cringe, the women behind Camilla, her ladies-in-waiting or possibly just over-enthusiastic palace interns, began physically tapping the backs of seated guests. Yes, tapping, desperately nudging them like, please, just stand up, pretend you care. We'll give you a commemorative coin or something. It was less respect for royalty and more awkward flash mob nobody joined. Wimbledon's official line? That Camilla received a warm welcome. Social media begged to differ. Twitter, or X for those still clinging to Elon's fever dream, lit up faster than a microwave curry. Comments ranged from, was that a funeral procession? To even the grass looked uncomfortable. The truth is, Camilla walking into a public event is still like trying to rebrand Marmite as a dessert topping. The public hasn't forgotten her role in the Princess Diana saga, and let's be honest, she'll never be able to outshine the incandescent legacy of the People's Princess. It's like casting your family cat as Simba in The Lion King, technically possible but deeply unpopular. And the royals, still phoning it in like they've got unlimited minutes on a 1998 Nokia, they wave, they wear hats, and they somehow expect centuries of privilege to translate into spontaneous affection from the crowd. Sorry, Your Majesties, this isn't a school assembly where we have to clap when told. The people want authenticity, not pageantry wrapped in lukewarm PR. In conclusion, if Queen Camilla hoped Wimbledon would be her moment of glory, it ended up being more like a polite British shrug. The royal brand could use a reboot, ideally one with less tone-deaf entitlement and a bit more actual human connection. Until then, maybe skip Centre Court and try Centre Parks. The ducks might be more enthusiastic. Nothing like a royal double feature to end the day. First, the farewell fanfare with the Macrons at Windsor Castle, and then, ta-da! Queen Camilla zooms off to Buckingham Palace for the King's Tour artist exhibition, hoping perhaps for a second wind of applause. Spoiler alert, it didn't come. Camilla arrived all smiles, waving like she was leading the Rose Parade, but the crowd not having it. Think less royal celebration and more Monday morning staff meeting where there's no coffee. The atmosphere was so flat, even the champagne was reconsidering its bubbles. As she glided in, only a brave 2 people clapped. 2. We don't know who they were, possibly palace staff, possibly folks who thought they were clapping for free snacks. Meanwhile, most attendees chose the classic British response to awkwardness. Polite silence and aggressively neutral facial expressions. Honestly, the walls had more warmth. Then came the encore performance. The tapping ladies' trademark were back in action. Like a royal flash mob choreographed by HR, they lightly poked the backs of guests, essentially whispering, "Come on, do the thing, stand up, look regal, pretend this matters." But the guests weren't buying it. Their body language screamed, "I paid good money for this seat, and I'm not using my legs unless a fire breaks out." This wasn't just a blip on the regal radar. It was a glowing neon reminder. Camilla, despite her title, remains about as beloved as a surprise parking ticket. The ghost of Princess Diana still floats high above the monarchy like a haloed spectre of what once was, reminding the public of warmth, compassion, and actual charisma. Camilla, bless her, walks into a room and the temperature drops 5 degrees, and the rest of the royal family, still operating like it's 1895 with Wi-Fi. They seem baffled that the public doesn't leap to its feet in rapturous applause every time someone in a sash and brooch enters a room. It's 2025, and people want transparency, relevance, and at least one royal who can hold a conversation without sounding like they're narrating a nature documentary. In short, Queen Camilla may hold the title, but the throne she sits on comes with the echo of polite indifference. Maybe next time they should bring Diana's hologram and see how that crowd responds. Ah yes, Wimbledon, where the strawberries are overpriced, the hats are outrageous, and the royal box is less about tennis and more about subtle public opinion polls. Enter Queen Camilla, front row centre court, soaking up the sun, and a whole lot of awkward silence. Despite all the grandeur, her seat fluffed, her pearls aligned, her smile fixed like a Madame Tussauds prototype, the crowd treated her arrival like someone had just announced a delayed train. A few claps here and there, possibly from confused tourists or the ultra-polite pensioners section, but mostly stone-cold indifference. Honestly, if vibes could kill, Buckingham Palace would be planning a second coronation. And then came the royal cringe Olympics trademark, the women trailing behind her, either palace aides or desperate extras from the crown, started physically tapping the backs of seated guests. Yes, full-on gentle nudges like, "Come on, folks, stand up, fake it for the cameras. We've got a monarchy to prop up here." It was like watching a low-budget theatre production try to cue the audience for a standing ovation that never came. Even the people who stood looked like they were questioning every life choice that brought them to this moment. One could almost hear their inner monologues. Do I clap? Do I bow? Who even is this for? It was a masterclass in reluctant politeness. The Queen might have been in her prime seat, but public opinion had left the building. And the contrast to Princess Diana, blinding. Diana walked into Wimbledon and the crowd lit up like a Beyoncé concert. She didn't need staffers elbowing people. Her mere presence got spontaneous ovations, warm smiles and actual human connection. She was elegance with empathy, grace with grit. People loved her. They still do. Diana could have shown up in wellies and a rain poncho and still turned heads. Meanwhile, Camilla's approval rating is stuck somewhere between lukewarm tea and British weather in February. People don't forget. The late-night phone calls, the media manipulation, the way Diana was treated like a burden, while Camilla waited in the wings with a smirk and a landline. The nation watched, and many still see her as the side character who forced her way into the spotlight and the crown. Even Charles, bless him, with all his royal PR blitzes and crown polishing, can't quite resuscitate Camilla's image. It's like trying to make boiled cabbage go viral on TikTok. No amount of palace parties or glossy events will earn the warmth that Diana had naturally. That kind of charisma can't be inherited or married into. It has to be real. And speaking of real, let's talk Harry and Meghan. Say what you want about them. And oh, the tabloids certainly do. But they have something the rest of the Windsors are sorely lacking: authenticity. Harry wears his heart on his sleeve, and Meghan has more charm in one raised eyebrow than Camilla does in an entire tiara collection. They connect with people because they talk with them, not at them. They care, they emote, they show up and mean it. Meanwhile, the senior royals continue to act like being slightly less robotic than a wax figure is a personality trait. At this point, the monarchy feels less like a symbol of unity and more like a pageant of missed opportunities and forced applause. So, until Camilla learns how to channel even a fraction of Diana's warmth, or until the palace stops treating the public like it's still 1953, expect more royal box appearances where the crowd's energy hovers somewhere between May and Is the Bar Open Yet? Game, set, muted match. The reception Camilla got is the tip of an iceberg that's been frozen since the 90s. The public still sees her, rightfully, many would argue, as the other woman, the mistress, the plot twist in the greatest royal soap opera of modern times. And now she's queen. It's like watching the villain take over the castle in the third act, and everyone just being told to clap politely. Princess Diana, in contrast, didn't need PR teams nudging people to cheer. She could walk into a room in a charity sweatshirt and spark more joy than Camilla ever could in a diamond tiara and an entire royal orchestra. Diana had something the rest of the Windsors still haven't figured out: genuine connection. She didn't just wave from a balcony. She reached people, held their hands, cried with them, laughed with them. She didn't play a role, she rewrote it. And then there's Harry and Meghan, the royal family's greatest act of rebellion since someone decided crowns were a good idea. Harry, who walked through the fire of grief and palace politics and came out with empathy, honesty and an actual backbone. Meghan, who brought spark, intelligence and gasp modern human emotions to the royal brand. Together they've shown what royalty could look like if it wasn't stuck in an emotional freezer wrapped in 300-year-old tradition. Meanwhile, Camilla's public approval remains flatter than a leftover crumpet. She may have the title, but she'll never have the hearts. People see through the crown polish and ribbon cutting, the whispers in the crowd, the icy receptions, the reluctance to clap. It all says what polite press releases won't. Camilla isn't Diana. She never will be. And the British public, they don't forget. They remember the headlines, the tears, the interviews, the betrayal. Camilla, walking into Wimbledon, is a visual reminder of everything Diana should have had and everything she was denied. That's not just a PR problem, that's a legacy problem. So, until the royals stop acting like they're casting for a reboot of Downton Abbey, The Bland Years, and until Camilla starts showing real humility instead of expecting reverence, the public will continue to serve her the same chilly reception they did at Wimbledon. Because in the hearts of the people, Diana was the queen they chose, not the one they were told to clap for. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. It's your host, Tyler. Love you all. Goodbye.